Hello students, myself Seetu Jaiswal, assistant teacher from Government Inter College, Chamrauli, Unnao. I welcome you in this class of English. Today we are going to read the poem Wind from your English book Beehive. This poem is composed by Subramania Bharti in Tamil. A.K. Ramanujan has translated this poem into English from Tamil. Students, let's know about the poet. Subramania Bharti was a Tamil writer, poet, journalist, Indian independence activist, a social reformer and a polyglot. Popularly known as Mahakavi Bharati, he was a pioneer of modern Tamil poetry and is considered one of the greatest Tamil literary figures of all time. A.K. Ramanujan has translated this poem into English from Tamil. Ramanujan was an Indian poet and scholar of Indian literature who wrote both in English and Kannada. Students, let's know about the poem. As the name suggests, this poem is about the wind. In this poem, the poet talks to the wind. The poet describes the power of wind on nature and human life. He focuses on the violent aspect of the wind that causes heavy destruction. He has linked the destructive power of wind to the adversities of life and says that the weak people break down, but stronger people emerge out of adversities stronger. He therefore suggests the reader be strong both physically and mentally. Students, let's start reading the poem. Wind, come softly. Don't break the shutters of the windows. Don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the books. You brought rain again. Here, shutter means a wooden or metal cover that is fixed outside a window. Scatter means to drop or throw things in different directions over a wide area. Students, in this part of this poem, the poet has described the actions of the wind. He says that wind is loud and strong. So he asks the wind to come softly. He requests the wind not to break the shutters of the windows, not to scatter the papers, not to throw down the books on the shelf. But as we know, the wind is a natural phenomena. It does not listen to the poet. It does not listen to anyone. It throws down all the things. It tears the pages of the books. The poet accuses wind of bringing rain again. To whom is the poet asking to come softly? The poet is asking wind to come softly. Write about any two destructive activities of the wind. The two destructive activities of the wind are: it breaks the shutter of the windows, it scatters the paper. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. Frail, crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. The wind god winnows and crushes them all. Here, frail means weak or feeble. Winnow winnow, which means to remove chaff from the grain. Crumbling, which means falling apart into small fragments. Students, in the first line, the poet has personified wind when he says, "You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings," which means wind very cleverly makes fun of weak things, fun of weak persons. Frail crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. Here, the word crumbling is repeated many times to lay stress that the wind crushes everything. The wind crushes everything that is weak. It crushes weak houses. It crushes weak doors. It crushes rafters, which means beam on which the roof of the buildings are supported. It crushes wood. It crushes bodies. It crushes lives. It crushes hearts. The wind god winnows and crushes them all. Here it means that it is the nature's way of rejecting frail and useless objects. In the same way, the wind god sifts all the people, and those who are weak get crushed and fall down. Why are the houses, doors, rafters, etc. crumbling? The houses, doors, rafters, etc. are crumbling because they are weak and cannot stand the onslaught of the destructive wind. He won't do what you tell him. So come, let's build strong homes. Let's join the door firmly. Practice to firm the body. Make the heart steadfast. Here, firm means strong. Steadfast means faithful and loyal. Students, he won't do what you tell him. The poet says, the wind will not listen to us. In the same way, the problems will not listen to us. They will come. So, what should we do? We should make preparations to face the problems in our life, to face the adversities, the difficulties in our life. And in this preparation, we should make our home strong. We should keep the door shut, and also we should strengthen our body and mind. Thus, the poet gives us a strong message that we should be mentally tough and physically strong so that we can survive amongst the hardships of life. What does he stand for? He stands for the wind. He won't do what you tell him. What does it mean? It means that the wind does not follow our commands. Do this and the wind will be friends with us. The wind blows out weak fires. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. His friendship is good. We praise him every day. Here, roar means to make a loud, deep sound. Flourish, which means grow. Students, the poet says that we must make the destructive forces our friends with our strength and determination. The poet says that the wind puts off the weak fires, but it makes the strong fire more strong. In the same way, the hardships and obstacles in life weaken and destroy the people who are mentally and physically weak. But the person who are strong, they flourish and grow to become more strong. So the poet says that the friendship with the wind, which means Hardships and obstacles is good because it learns us, it gives us a lesson to make ourselves strong, to be prepared so that we can face them. What does this stand for? This stands for the strengthening of buildings, bodies and human hearts. What is the impact of the wind on weak fires and strong fires? The wind blows out the weak fires but makes the strong fire loud and flourish. Students, here are the appreciation questions. Why does the poet plead with the wind to blow softly? When the wind blows softly, it is harmless and enjoyable, but when it blows fiercely, it creates havoc. Therefore, the poet wants the wind to be gentle and soft. How does the wind make fun of the weaklings? The strong wind uses its destructive power to harm weak persons and delicate things. It crushes weak houses, doors, and even human lives and hearts. By moving violently and destroying the weak, it seems to make fun of their helplessness. What does the poet say the wind god winnows? The poet is addressing to wind as wind god. And he is saying that powerful god of wind winnows. That means he shifts all the people, and those people who are weak fall down and get crushed. What does the wind symbolize in the poem? The wind symbolizes difficulties and challenges. Why does the poet remarks that the friendship of wind is good? The friendship of wind, which means difficulties and adversities, is good because it makes us strong both physically and mentally. Whom does the poet praise and why? The poet guides us to praise the wind every day. This is because the wind is like a good friend who makes us strong to fight. Students, here are the keywords which will help you to recall the poem. Remember the lines where these words are used. Softly. In the first line, when the poet says, wind come softly. Scatter. Don't scatter the papers. Shutters. Don't break down the shutters of the windows. Weaklings. Yes, in the line, you are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. Crumbling. The poet has used this word many times to lay stress that the wind crushes everything. Crumbling wood, crumbling rafters, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. Firm. Practice to firm our body. Yes. Next word is flourish. The strong wind gets flourished, the strong fire gets flourished by the strong wind. Crushes. The wind god winnows and crushes them all. Clever. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. Winnows. The wind god winnows. Students, thus these are the keywords. Poetic elements. Students, the poet has used these elements in this poem. Let's see. An offer. An offer. When a word is repeated 2 or more consecutive lines, this device is used. In the poem, lines 2, 3 and 4 begin with don't. And in the lines 6, 7 and 8 begin with U. Next element we have found in the poem is personification. The poet has personified wind. When he says you are, it means he is treating wind as a person. Next element is symbolism. Symbolism, which means when a thing is refers to some other thing. In the poem, wind is a symbol of challenges in life. Repetition. Yes, the word crumbling is repeated many times in the poem to lay stress that the wind crushes everything. Alliteration, which means repetition of consonant sounds in close connections. In the poem, wind winnows and won't want. In these words, we have found this element. Rhyme scheme. The poem is written in free verse. There is no rhyme scheme in this poem. Students, this is the poem. Let's sum up. The poet has described the power of wind on nature and human life. The wind can easily break window panes when it blows strongly. The books from shelf fall down and wind tears apart the pages. It seems like wind enjoys its power and laughs at weaker things. Doors, woods, and even hearts are not safe from its strength. But the poet realizes that the wind is a natural phenomena. We should make ourselves strong so that we can save us from its destructive power. We should make ourselves strong so that we can face the wind. Thus, we can also survive amongst the hardships of life. Students, here is the recapitulation work. Complete the lines. Students, we will fill in the blanks. Wind come. What will come here? Wind come softly. The poet asks the wind to come softly. See the next line. Don't break the blank of the windows. What will come here? Don't break the shutters of the windows. Don't scatter the. What will come here? Don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. Yes, students, see the next line. You tore the pages of the, what will come here in this blank space? You tore the pages of the books. You brought. Yes, the poet accuses the wind of bringing rain again. Yes, you brought, what will come here? Rain. You brought rain again. Yes, this is the first stanza of the poem. Wind comes softly. Don't break the shutters of the windows. Don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the books. You brought rain again. Students, now we will do the recitation of the poem once again. Enjoy the recitation. Wind, come softly. Don't break the shutters of the windows. Don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the books. You brought rain again. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. Frail, crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. The wind god winnows and crushes them all. He won't do what you tell him. So come, let's build strong homes. Let's join the doors firmly. Practice to firm the body. Make the heart steadfast. Do this and the wind will be friends with us. The wind blows out weak fires. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. His friendship is good. We praise him every day. The students, this is the poem Wind, composed by Subramanya Bharti in Tamil and translated by A.K. Ramanujan into English. This poem is a very inspiring poem for us because through the wind, the poet gives us strong message to make ourselves strong, firm and determined so that we can survive amongst the obstacles and hardships of life. Students, here is the homework for you to do at home. Note down it. Learn 4 lines of the poem Wind. Write down the central idea of the poem. Thus, this is the poem Wind. I hope all of you have enjoyed this poem. Thank you.